Ravana said, we will all be reborn as mobiles, disturb everybody. We will be reborn as mobiles. So every mobile is a Ravanaji. Riyam ji. Sahana avatu, sahana bhunaktu, sahaviryam karavavai, tejasvinavadhetamastu, mavidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Shruti Smriti Purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavat Pada Shankaram Loka Shankaram Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutra Bhashya Krita Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punah. Hare Rama.
This was saying that the classes started. My Ravana started.
Your Ravana started. Yes.
So Swamiji wants to say something.
Yes, yes. He has to introduce me. Swami Sakshi, you are all in the hands of Swami Sakshatanandji. Please come to the ashram again and again. It will be nice. Your presence is very important in this ashram. Without the people, it looks awkward. It looks awful. It's not correct for an ashram to be empty. Without you, this ashram will be incomplete. And therefore, you must all come. And your presence is necessary. You must listen to Swami Sakshatanand.
Om Dayakaram Dayakaram Dhantam Dharma Pravattakam Pranamami Dayanandam Adacharyavaram Param. I'm very happy to welcome Pujya Sri Swami Prabhuddhananda Saraswati Ji. He is going to enlighten you on the topic of Mandukya. Sri Swamiji is a very senior disciple of Pujya Swamiji. He came to Pujya Swamiji in the 1960s when Swamiji was living in a hut here. You can go back and see how many years before it is. In 60s, he came to Swamiji here, and Swamiji took him to Chimya Mission, where Swamiji was conducting a course. Swamiji was the first batch of Pujya Swamiji's course. 1970s, the early part of 1970, the first course was there. Swamiji studied with Pujya Sri Swamiji, and thereafter, Swamiji was teaching in Delhi for the past half a century. And Swamiji is a great teacher who has the clear understanding and the capacity to communicate his vision. Both are necessary. Clear vision also is necessary, and the capacity to communicate the vision also is necessary. Clear vision is there without the capacity to communicate, not useful for others. Vision is not there, you communicate something that is not knowledge. Swamiji had both, and Swamiji, his devotees in New Delhi know how much they have benefited in the past decades from Swamiji's teaching. We are fortunate that Swamiji has agreed to come and take this third camp in spite of his health. Swamiji is healthy, but his organs are not cooperating. Therefore, his delivery will be inhibited. The vision is not inhibited, the capacity is not inhibited, the organs inhibit the delivery. Even though Swamiji's favorite topic it is, Mandukya is Swamiji's favorite topic, very excellent topic, his delivery will be inhibited by this incapacity of the organs. But still, Swamiji agreed to come and talk, and we are sure we are going to have a feast of Mandukya Upanishad. I thank Swamiji once again and request him to enlighten us.
Thank you, Ji. You're all in the Hariyam Ji. You're all in the hands of Swami Sakshat Ji. And Sakshat Ji is a great teacher too. He is the vice chairman of this ashram, but he is going to be the chairman after some time. But he will be in charge of this ashram, and all of you can come and spend time with him, and you will be greatly benefited too. Thank you very much, Ji. So, main thing is, man is bound. What is bondage? Please tell me. What is bondage? What is it echoing here? It is echoing.
Little distance is there. Little.
What is bondage? The bondage is hands and foot being bound. If a person is bound hand and foot, then he is called bondage, or he is bound to a pole, or bound to a body. Being bound to a body is what is called bondage. Being bound to a body is called bondage. And sense of limitation is felt by man, that is called bondage. Sense of limitation is the limitation of the body. The limitation of the body is felt by the self, this conscious being, aham and idam. This is what is called adhyasa. Adhyasa. This is what is called adhyasa. When a person takes when the Paramatma takes itself to be the body, then it becomes Jivatma. When the Paramatma becomes the body, it takes itself to be it's not the body, but it takes itself to be the body, then it becomes Jivatma. And therefore, we can say the Jivatma doesn't know itself. It doesn't know its actuality. It's that it is Paramatma, that it is Brahman, and therefore it is suffering. And therefore it suffers. The Jivatma suffers. The Jivatma suffers because it doesn't correct it has not corrected the adhyasa. When it has not corrected the adhyasa, it may come back. The continuity of the error itself is what is called the rebirth. When a person dies without correction of the adhyasa, he will be reborn again. He will be reborn as per the yatha karma yatha shrutam. Yatha karma yatha shrutam means as per his actions, physical and mental, he will be reborn as per his actions. That he is born is due to adhyasa, and in what situation he is born, that is due to karma. In what that he is born is due to adhyasa. That he is born is due to adhyasa. But in what situation he is born, into what family he is born, into what under what circumstances he is born, that becomes with what problems he has got, and that is because of karma. And that's why Bhagavan also says that when a person is if a person goes without, if he tries to solve the problem, but if he fails to solve the problem, then he will be reborn into a family of rich people or jnanis, and he will again, his mind thinking will be connected to Brahman. His thinking will be connected to Brahman. And therefore, what should we do? We should always reflect between the Atma and Anatma. This discerning is what is called Viveka, Atma Anatma Viveka. Atma Anatma Viveka has to be done. Between Atma and Anatma, there is a difference. Atma is called Aham, and if the body is called Idam. Aham is called Atma. Aham is the conscious being, and Idam is the inert body. Between the Aham and the inert, there is a difference. There is a combination, and that is called Adhyasa. Conscious being taking itself to be the matter, the body, and that is why it is called Adhyasa. Atasmin tad buddhi. When it is not the body, it takes itself to be the body, conscious being. Otherwise, it is solely a conscious being. You have to understand this. We all need to understand this fact that Atma is solely a conscious being. It's not a blend of conscious being and the body. It's not a blend. It is solely a conscious being. And therefore, and presupposing this adhyasa is every pramanam, pratyaksha pramanam, anumana pramanam, arthapatya, anupalabdhi upamana, all these things, anupalabdhi upamana, all these pratyakshadi pramanas presuppose adhyasa. And even karmakanda presupposes adhyasa. Even Vedanta presupposes adhyasa. The only difference between karmakanda and Vedanta is both presuppose adhyasa, but karmakanda cannot break through the adhyasa. Whereas Vedanta can break through the adhyasa. But both presuppose adhyasa. That is the difference. When you are studying Vedanta, it means you are working for correcting the adhyasa. Adhyasa can only be corrected. Adhyasa cannot be, adhyasa can be, even negation, the word negation can be negated. The word that it can be negated also means that it is available for correction. A mistake has to be corrected. A mistake has to be corrected. And a mistake that is what is called negation. Negation also means correction only here. And adhyasa can be negated means what? Adhyasa can be corrected. Adhyasa can be corrected. And that correction of the adhyasa is what is called moksha. Presuppose, and even though all pravrittis, nivrittis presuppose only this adhyasa. A man always wants to get sukham, and that is called pravritti. And he wants to get nivritti, and he wants to get nivritti from dukkham. That means he is not interested. He thinks that he will get pleasures from the objects, and then he will get the unlimited. But his eyes are always set on the unlimited, and the unlimited happiness. No happiness is unlimited. Every happiness has a beginning and an end. And therefore, every happiness having a beginning and an end. Happiness can never be unlimited. The peace can be, and therefore the Shruti says, you don't have to search for happiness, for freedom in the objects. You have to look for it within yourself. And you are indeed you are indeed unlimited, and therefore you have to think of you have to discern between yourself and anatma. And when you discern between yourself and anatma, that discerning itself will take care of everything. Discerning means they are not parallel. In fact, Atma is the truth of it is unlike the body, but it is the truth of the body. It is unlike everything, but it is the truth of everything also. And that means, like the rope is the truth of the snake, it is unlike the snakeness. The rope is unlike the snake, but it is the truth of the snake. In the same manner, the pot is unlike the clay, but it is unlike the clay, but the clay is the truth of the pot. Clay is the truth of all pots. Similarly, the Atma is the truth of all objects. It is unlike all the objects, but it is the truth of all objects. And therefore, we have to, and therefore, Pashvadipishya Visheshat. It is said this pravritti, this struggle, not only human beings have, but also animals also have. And therefore there is no difference between man and animals. Pashvadi Vishya Viseshat. This is what Shankaracharya says in his Adhyas Bhashyam, that there is no difference between man and animals when it comes to pravritti and nivritti. When it comes to Adhyasa, the mosquito also identifies itself. That is also Paramatma, but identifies itself with the body, mosquito body. It finds itself. It doesn't. It is not subjective, please. It's not. It is about the subject, but it's not the subjective. Subjective means it is deliberate. That is it. Nobody makes a mistake deliberately. Nobody commits adhyasa deliberately. And therefore, when a person mm, थोड़ा पानी दे दो भैया. Thank you. And therefore, there is no difference between man and animal, because a mosquito also finds itself identified with the body. Finding oneself with identified with the body is anadhyasa. Therefore, dehoham, nobody does and nobody begins this adhyasa in time. You don't begin in time the adhyasa. You don't correct it. That is a different matter. But taking yourself to be adhyasa, you find yourself taking to be the body. Taking to be the body. You find yourself taking to the body. In the same manner, you find yourself to be the desire, having a desire. You find yourself to be even greed. You find yourself to be greedy. You find yourself to be jealous. You find yourself to be hatred, kama, krodha, lobha, moha, mada, matsarya. All these things, these are all, and therefore what is to be done? And therefore discern between Atma and Anatma, and that how Atma is unlike Anatma, and at the same time it is the truth of all the entire Anatma. This is what is to be understood. And therefore, and every the pot has pot has a maker. That maker is not the material. The maker is different, the material is different. The material is clay, the maker is someone else. But if Parameshwara is considered to be, this is called a Shastra Kalpitam. Shastra Kalpana is different from Avidya Kalpana. Avidya Kalpana is what you find yourself with, is called Avidya Kalpitam. And what Shastra does, Shastra teaches to destroy only, to correct only Avidya Kalpitam. It comes back to Avidya Kalpitam. Shastra, it also does the Adhyaropa Apavada Nyaya. Adhyaropa Apavada Nyaya, it does. That Adhyaropa Apavada Nyaya is the methodology adopted by the Vedanta. And the Adhyaropa Apavada method adopted by Vedanta is meant to destroy the Avidya Kalpitam. Avidya Kalpitam is indeed what you find yourself with. That is all Avidya Kalpitam. That I am the body, that I am the senses, that I am the mind, that I am the intellect, etc. I find myself with that. And therefore it is Anadi Adhyasa. Adhyasa means Anadi. As Shankaracharya says, Anadira Anantaha Naisargigoyam Loka Vyavahara Sarvaloka Pratyakshaha. Sarvaloka, it is, I am Ahamidam Mamedam iti Loka Vyavahara. Ahamidam, this is the Loka Vyavahara. What is the Loka Vyavahara? Ahamidam, I am this. And Mamedam, this is mine. This is me and this is mine. This is Loka Vyavahara. And it is Nisarga Jatam Naisargikam. Nisarga Jatam means Ajnana Jatam. It is one finds oneself with whatever one finds oneself with, that is Vidya Kalpitam. It is due to Ajnana Kalpitam. Ajnanam means Agrahanam. Agrahanam, Annidagrahanam, Samshaya Grahanam. Agrahanam is found only in the Annidagrahanam. You find yourself only with Anyada Grahana, and somebody were to ask a question, what is Anyada Grahana due to? Then you will say, it is due to Agrahanam. Agrahanam can never be experienced without Anyada Grahanam. Within the Anyada Grahanam is Agrahanam experienced. Agrahanam cannot be experienced independent of Anyada Grahanam. And therefore, please understand that Anyada Grahanam is Anadi. Anyada Grahanam is Bhavarupam, but Agrahanam is Abhavarupam. Agrahanam, the absence of knowledge. It is not Jnana Virodhi, it is Jnana Abhavam. Like when you understand that the rope jnana is not something, and for not understanding the rope as rope, I mistake it to be a snake. There is no other reason, and therefore the material for the entire snake solely the rope only. The rope ununderstood, it becomes the material for the snake at the era. In the same manner, here also consciousness understood that one is only solely a conscious being, that one is not the body. For lack of understanding of that, one feels that one is only one is only the body, limited to the body, and I begin where the body ends, I end. One thinks, dehe pushtaham pushtaha, deham nashte, dehe nashte aham nashtaha. When the body is healthy, I am healthy. When the body is gone, I am gone. When the body is there, I am there. In this manner, one thinks. And therefore, everything is, it is, Adhyarapavadhyaya Shastra is also meant to correct the avidya kalpitam. Avidya kalpitam is meant to, avidya kalpitam is something that you find yourself with. What? And that is what is called avidya kalpitam. I find myself with the body, I find myself with the senses, I find myself with the mind and intellect, etc. I find myself as a thinker. I find myself as a thinker body. This thought that I am the body, it is also a thought. That thought is what is called ahankara. That calls itself karta. Karta, if it calls itself as karta, then it is jnanam. And therefore it is akarta that calls itself as karta. Akarta becomes the karta. Then it is a mistake, then it is adhyasa. And therefore we have to say that is akarta. Akarta becomes the karta. This is what Swamiji used to say again and again. Please don't make a comparison between me and Swamiji or anybody. And please, without any comparison, please just listen. I am sick, and therefore my problem is my delivery. My delivery is not as good as before, but now it has gone into trouble. But my topic is intact. The topic is intact, but my delivery is not the same as before, and therefore, and that is the reason why I sometimes get into trouble while talking also, and therefore, in this manner, the adhyasa, when it is corrected, then when one gets moksha, because man's problem is only adhyasa, taking himself to be the body, taking himself to the body, and that is what it is called adhyasa. Taking the consciousness, karta is taking itself to be the akarta. Akarta is taking itself to be the karta. Akarta, the akarta atma is taking itself to be the karta, is what is called adhyasa. Tasmin tadbuddhi. When it is not karta, it is taking itself to be karta, is adhyasa. And therefore, when it is not the body, taking itself to be the body is what is called adhyasa. And when there is adhyasa, there is a problem. Presupposing this adhyasa is the entire correct, uh, is the entire problem, is the entire struggle of man, is the entire struggle of that struggle of man is always in the form of seeking greater and greater happiness. He may get greater happiness, he may get smaller happiness, a happiness which has a dimension, but then the peace that has no dimension is his nature, and therefore he is only looking for himself. This is what our Guruji used to say, that everybody is seeking only himself. Everybody is searching for himself. And therefore, when a person is searching for himself, then he has to understand himself. And therefore, he doesn't know. And therefore, Shastra points out, you are only looking for yourself. You are only searching for yourself. And therefore, you don't have to search for yourself. You are there already. You don't have to create yourself. You don't have to reach yourself. You are yourself. And therefore, you have to understand yourself. Understanding yourself is exactly what can liberate you. This is what Amara Guruji also used to say again and again. Amara Guruji, Swami Dayananda Saraswati, used to say again and again, he used to say that everybody is looking for, like the prince is lost. A prince is lost as a child, and that prince, when he grows up, he has got all the princely qualities, and therefore, similarly, man also has got all the qualities. That search for the unlimitedness itself is a princely quality, and then just as a prince is searching for himself, somebody has to tell him that you are the prince, that you have been here, you were kidnapped as a child. All these things, he has to be somebody has to point out. And that pointer is what is called Aptavakyam. That pointer is what is called Aptavakyam or Ishvara Vakyam. Here in the Vedanta, Paramatma can be, Paramatma is pointed out. Paramatma is pointed out to Paramatma. Paramatma is pointed out to Paramatma, and Paramatma is considering itself as Jivatma, is being pointed out by this Shastra. Shastra is only Ishvara is the Karta of Vedanta Krit, Veda Videva Chaham. Bhagavan says, I am the Vedanta Krit, Veda Videva Chaham, I am the knower of the Veda, and all that Bhagavan says. Bhagavan also says in Bhagavad Gita, I am the Vedanta, I am the author of the Vedanta, I know the Veda, entire Veda, and all that Bhagavan says. That means what? That means Bhagavan himself is the Aptavakyam. Whatever Bhagavan says is Aptavakyam. Aptapurusha, he is the one who understands, like just as Aptavakyam is in the example. But we can say in the Dashtantam also, he is like Aptapurusha. He is like Aptapurusha means the person who understands the problem. He is the person. Parameshwara is the one who understands the problem, and therefore Parameshwara solves the problem. And therefore Parameshwara is not someone who is a jiva. Parameshwara is present in all the jivas. He is the truth of all jivas. He is unlike all jivas. He is the truth of all. He is the actuality of all the jivas. That is why Sadeva Saumidamagrasit Ekameva Advitiyam Tat Satyam Sa Atma Tattvamasi Shvetaketu. It is said, hey Bhagavan, you are a Shvetaketu, you are indeed that Sat, you are indeed Atma, that thou art, that Sat thou art, that existence thou art. That existence thou art does not mean that existence means that Atma is the what. Sat means Atma. To be means to be yourself. To be is only yourself. Something else, Anatma is never there. Anatma is always, it comes under creation. Anatma is a thought. It is pratyaya rupam. Whatever you see, it appears to be. Whatever appears is an appearance. To whom it appears is the truth. Whatever appears is an appearance, and to whom it appears is Paramatma. And to everything appears to you, and therefore you are the Atma. And the body appears to you, and therefore that is you are the Atma, and the body is Anatma. Whatever appears is an appearance. Therefore, the universe is an appearance because it appears to you, and you are the Atma, and therefore whatever appears is an appearance. Whatever appears is an appearance, and whatever is an appearance is apparent. Is apparent. It's an appearance, and anything that is an appearance, it is subject to disappearance also. It is subject to disappearance. It disappears also. Anything that appears disappears also. And therefore, Anatma has appearance and disappearance, whereas Atma is always there in all these three states. It is there. It is there in all the three states. Due to ignorance, there appears to be three states. The three states are not outside you. The three states are within you. That is, the three states are within you. This is what is to be understood. The states are not, ignorance is not inside the states. It is due to ignorance, there are three states. Due to ignorance, there are three states. Ignorance is the reason for looking for the appearance of the three states. It is not that ignorance has to be inferred or ignorance has to be done something. Ignorance, it is due to ignorance, it is due to non-understanding, it is due to misunderstanding. There are three states. When I take myself to be the body, when I am not the body, I see three states. And therefore, you don't have to infer ignorance from the three states. It's not that the three states are within avidya. The three states presuppose anida grahanam. The three states presuppose anida grahanam. And therefore, anida grahanam is not in the three states. Anida grahanam is not in you don't have to infer anida grahanam. Anida grahanam is anubhava vishayam. Agrahanam is something that you don't have to infer it. Agrahanam also is something that is Grahanam also is something that is not to be inferred. If somebody were to ask a question, why is Anida Grahanam is there? Then we say then it is due to Agrahanam. Agrahanam, Anida Grahanam, Sanina Samshaya Grahanam. In this manner, all these three Grahanas are there. When there is knowledge, all the three will go away. All the three, whether it is Agrahanam or Anida Grahanam or Samshaya Grahanam, all the three Grahanas will go away. Grahanam means under the spell. Under Agrahanam means the spell. Under the spell of ignorance, under the spell of misunderstanding, under the spell of doubt. I find myself with the spell of misunderstanding, the spell of non-understanding, and the spell of doubt. All the three spells I find myself with. And therefore, when the spells are gone, I become liberated. And therefore, until then, the rebirth cannot be doubted, because the rebirth is nothing but the ignorance uncorrected. The misapprehension uncorrected is what is called avidya. Avidya uncorrected is what is called adhyas. Uncorrected is what is called the rebirth. Just as when you see the rope in the snake in the rope, and when you close your eyes and then open your eyes again and again, you see the snake, and that is what is called the rebirth. Please, the rebirth is not different from, and therefore in every birth, a person has got misunderstanding, and when a person dies with misunderstanding, he will be reborn again with the same misunderstanding. And therefore, who has to understand? It is the Jivatma that has to find his actual Swarupam. And therefore, whether the Swarupam has to understand, Swarupa as Jiva has to understand Tat Srishtva Tadevanu Pravishta, it is said. The Ishvara having created the body, himself enters the body. Atmananu Pravisha Namarupa Vyakarvane. Atmananu Pravisha Swarupena Anu Pravisha Namarupa Vyakarvane. In this manner it is said. Swarupena Pravisha means, so Swarup in the form of Swarupa, without renouncing the Swarupa, Parameshwara has entered the body. Having entered the body, it creates all the problems. The Parameshwara becomes the Jivatma, and the Parameshwara becomes the Jivatma, and Parameshwara having become the Jivatma, that means either Jivatma has to solve the problem, or Paramatma as the Jivatma has to solve the problem. Who has to solve the problem? Ultimately, you may say Jivatma solves the problem. Jivatma is none other than Paramatma. Not knowing its actuality, it becomes Jivatma. That means Paramatma has to discover that it is Paramatma. It is not the Jivatma that has to discover that it is Jivatma. That will be Jivatma. Jivatma knows that it is Jivatma. The every limited one, limitation is self-evident, and therefore every person is Atma is self-evident. Atma is Atma. You don't have to open your eyes to see yourself. Even though you don't have to hear yourself, you don't have to taste, touch, smell, or hear yourself, and therefore you are Swata Siddham. And not only Swata Siddham, but also Swayam Jyotihi. In the dream, you are Swayam Jyotihi. Everything is seen in your light only. The entire creation is seen, heard, tasted, touched, smelt. Everything is heard, tasted, touched, and smelt in your light only. And therefore you are Swayam Jyoti. Atma is Swayam Jyoti. Atma is Swayam Siddha. Atma is Swayam Jyoti. In Swayam Jyoti Brahmana, in Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, it is given there. Swayam Jyoti Brahmana. When the sun sets in the light of the moon, you do Vyavahara in the light of the some moon. And when the light of the sun and the moon set, in what light you do Vyavahara? In the light of the fire. But that also becomes extinguished, let us say. When you go into sleep, you transcend the sun, you transcend the moon, you don't carry the candles into the dream, but still you create a world. Then you find yourself surrounded by the world, and that world is not in the light of, is not created in the light of physical light. It is created in the light of yourself, Swayam Jyoti, and therefore Atma is Swayam Jyotihi. It is Swayam itself, Swayam is Jyotihi, and therefore it is Swayam Jyotishtam. Swayam Jyotishta Prakaranam is there in Brihadaranyaka, and we will see it. We will see it. Thank you. Thank you. Are you able to follow? It's like this, Jay, what to do? My problem is my delivery is not that great. Delivery is all right. You are able to follow.
It's a bit of Sanskrit words they can explain.
Yeah. And this problem is there. When you are not well, all these problems come. Jay. That is also prarabdham. You can say it is prarabdham. Jay. Prakarabdham, prarabdham. He is asking me to explain some Sanskrit terms. Prarabdham. So we will begin with prarabdham. Ji. Prakarabdham, prarabdham. Prak patale pahले शुरू किया. Prarabdham. Whatever action one has done before, that is associated with this body. That I told you that you are born is due to adhyasa. Under what circumstances you are born, that is due to karma. In what situation you are born, that is due to karma. That you are born is due to adhyasa. Adhyasa uncorrected only makes you born, makes you reborn. Adhyasa uncorrected. And the karma that you do, that is the immediate reason. And that is the reason for where you are born, how you are born, in what situation, with what health, etc. That is due to karma. And therefore, prakarabdham prarabdham. And prakarabdham prarabdham. And there is sanchita karma, there is agami karma. What is FD? You have some karma was done in the previous janmas, and it is fixed. It is in the fixed deposit. Hamara Guruji used to say, it is in fixed deposit, and that is what is called sanchita karma. Sanchitaha, samyak chitaha. Chitaha means well collected karma. Samyak chitaha, well collected karma. It's called sanchita karma. Sanchita karma means need not be old karma. It need not be any karma. It was done before now. It was done in the past. That is reborn. That is well collected. That comes under sanchita karma. Whatever is done in the agami karma means whatever is done after the jnana is what is called agami karma. Whatever is done in this life is also agami karma. But agami karma means the future karma. But for a jnani, no agami karma, no sanchita karma remains, but prarabdha karma remains with him. Takes a janma, prarabdha karma he has to go through. He may not go through sanchita karma, he may not go through agami karma, but he has, in the same manner, this prarabdha also catches the person. It catches the person and it troubles the person, or it doesn't trouble them. It makes him happy or unhappy. That prarabdha always has its effect on the person. It makes the person suffer or enjoy. If it is a good karma, if it is a good prarabdha karma, then he enjoys it. If it is a bad prarabdha karma, he suffers it. Just like me, I am doing. And just as I am doing. This is my prarabdha karma. Prarabdha karma also has to come to an end. When the ajnana ends, when the ajnana itself ends, prarabdha karma, what to talk of prarabdha karma? Prarabdha karma also ends. And atma means apnoti iti atma. You asked, to tell some Sanskrit terms. Atma. Agrahanam. Grahanam means, grahanam means grasping. Agrahanam means non-grasping. Anyatha means, anyatha means otherwise. Otherwise grahana means atasmin tad buddhi. When it is not so, you mistake it to be that. That is what anyatha grahanam. Samshay grahanam means you grasping that there is a doubt. Is it the snake? Am I the body or am I not the body? In this manner you have a doubt. That doubt also comes under ignorance. Doubt comes under ignorance. Anyatha grahanam comes under avidya, and agrahanam also comes under avidya. All the three come under avidya. Agrahanam, anyatha grahanam, samshaya grahanam. All the three go when the jnanam takes place. And therefore, agrahanam, anyatha grahanam, samshaya grahanam. Agrahanam. And therefore, here, I'm sorry, Ji. And therefore, we have to do the Mandukya Upanishad, I'm giving only introduction to Mandukya. It is all introduction to Brahma Vidya Ji. Whatever I have said is all introduction to Brahma Vidya. It is all an introduction to Brahma Vidya. This introduction to Brahma Vidya, unless you understand the introduction to Brahma Vidya, Mandukya cannot be understood. Mandukya has to understand Mandukya. The Atma has to be understood. Every belief is blind belief. Ji. Any belief that is not evident, whether it is Hindu belief or Christian belief or Islamic belief, any belief is blind belief because it is subject to correction. This is what Amara Guruji used to say. It's very good, Ji. It is after hearing that I became his student. It is said, he said here, when there was a hut here, now there was nothing else. He was saying every belief is he was doing Naishkarma Siddhi at that time, Aparoksha Anubhuti. And he told one thing, every belief is blind belief. It's very true, because every belief is a belief. Whatever is evident, like scientist, it is sense evident to the object. The object is sense evident, and therefore you go straight for understanding it. Similarly, you can't understand heaven, because whether it is there or not, it is not self-evident. It's not evident. It is neither sense evident nor self-evident, and therefore it is not available for understanding. Heaven is not available for understanding, whereas you are available for understanding. You can understand yourself. Why? Because you are self-evident. You are evident to yourself. You don't have to go in the dark. Somebody asks, "Are you there?" Yes, I am there. Even though you don't, the darkness does not impede you. it does not become a problem for you. It doesn't become an impediment. It always you in the darkness also you see, you don't see yourself. You can't objectify the subject. Subject cannot objectify. Amara Guru used to say the subject is one who is not subject to objectification. This is a very important point. Ji. The consciousness is never available for objectification. The subject, the consciousness is, the consciousness is, the consciousness is, and therefore consciousness being is there. You don't have to objectify you don't have to objectify consciousness. When it is there, why do you have to objectify it? You don't have to objectify consciousness, and therefore consciousness without being objectified, and it is understanding only. And therefore, everything is available for understanding. What is not evident cannot be understood. What is not evident cannot be understood. What is evident alone can be understood. And what is evident is only self-evident is yourself. The Atma is self-evident. Atma is evident by itself. You always say, I am evident by myself. You don't have to use your senses for knowing yourself, objectify yourself. You are in the deep sleep state also, senses are not there, but you are very much there. And from the after waking up, you always remember that I am there, I was there. Nakinchidabedisham, I did not see anything. Then I did not see anything means any particular thing, I did not see anything, any particular object, no object I saw, no object. These objects that I am seeing here, I did not see there. In this manner, one says, and therefore it is self-evident only. Nakinchidabedisham, aham shantam asuptam. Shantam. I was very peaceful, and therefore everybody says that I was very peaceful. Sukham ahasmaha swapsam. I slept very well. In this manner he remembers. That means he was absolutely peaceful. There was no relativeness. It was absoluteness. And therefore in Sushupti one is Swarupam. And that Swarupam he understands very well. And therefore in Sushupti when is Sutta Siddham, and therefore what is Siddham can be understood, please. Only Atma can be understood. And that is why we say Tasmin Vijnate, Etasmin Vijnate, Sarvam Vijnatam Bhavati. Atma, when Atma is understood, everything is understood. The whole is understood to be the truth of everything is Atma. When the clay is understood, you know that the truth of all parts is understood. When the clay is understood, the truth of all parts is understood. Similarly, when the rope is understood, the truth of the entire snake, every bit of the snake is understood. In the same manner, here also, when the Atma is understood, the entire Anatma is understood, means the truth of the entire Anatma is understood. When the Atma is understood, the truth of every Anatma is understood. This is what is to be understood. Atma also has to be understood. Atma is to be understood. And therefore here it is said that therefore what is evident has to be understood. What is evident alone can be understood. Every faith has to be, every belief is a blind belief. Every belief is a blind belief. Whereas Vedanta is talking about the evident. Like a scientist, when he sees the object, he tries to understand it. There is no question about that is why that does not mean it is scientific. The scientific means it doesn't have, it is logical, all right, but it need not be, it is not based upon the sense data. Science always makes sense data. That sense data is not in the Vedanta. Sense data is not acceptable. Sense data is not acceptable. It is available for understanding. Atma is available, it is Jnayam. Jnayam yatat pravakshyami yajnatva murtam ashnute. It is Bhagavan says, I am going to tell you what is to be understood. Anadimat param brahma nasattan nadachyate. It is Anadi Brahma. Anadi, it is timeless Brahman that is to be understood. It is neither Sat nor Asat. It is neither Murtam nor Amurtam. It is not, it is unlike the elements. It is other than the elements. It is not, elements are not parallel to the Atma. Elements are like the pot is not parallel to the clay. Like a jar is not parallel to the clay. No pot is parallel to the clay. If there is something parallel to you, then you are limited, and what is parallel to you also is also limited. You limit that, and that limits you. Amara Guruji used to say in Tamil, and very nicely, that is, both are limited. Both are limited to each other, limited by each other. And therefore, one has to say that nothing is parallel to the truth. Nothing is parallel to the truth. Truth alone is. And therefore, one has to understand that I am solely consciousness. I am solely alone there. And this is what is to be understood. This is what is to be reflected upon. That you are only a soul, you are only a soul, you are solely a conscious being. You are not a blend of many things put together. You are not a blend of many things. You are not a blend of even two things. Even when you go to a sushupti, you are in relation to something. That is what it is unfolded. That the Atma is unfolded as free from the prapancha. Nishprapanchaha prapanchate. Prapanchayate. Prapanchayate means vyakhayate. Vyakhayate. Nishprapanchaha Atma vyakhayate. Prapanchate means vyakhayate. Adhyaropavadabhyam. In relation to your son, you are a mother. But when you go to in relation to your mother, you are a daughter. In relation to your husband, you are a wife. In this manner. But when you are in the deep sleep state, what are you? All relations are common. You don't miss them. You don't feel them also. You don't miss any relationship. You don't feel also any relationship. And therefore, you are yours. It is Swarupa Avastha. Going by the Anubhava, in the deep sleep state, going by Anubhava, it is Swarupa Avastha. It is not something, it is Swarupa Avastha. It is not something that can be considered as, it is not something that is one of the three states. It is Swarupa Avastha. From the waking point of view, it is one of the three states. In order to be felt as one of the three states, you have to understand the other two states. But no states are experienced. No